Welcome to First Wing, a Fourth Wing podcast.
I'm Brianna, and this is the start of my Iron Flame journey.
And I'm Kendra, an experienced dragon rider, here to help this second year. Just a quick note, this book contains explicit content, including swearing, sex, violence, and death, and so will this podcast. These two chapters do contain both violence and death, along with the emotions that come along with that.
Yeah, and not just like a random first year walking off the parapet death either.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to get going. This is chapter 9 and 10.
Yes. Last episode ended after Varish's dragon killed a bunch of people, almost killed Violet, and then Taryn came to her rescue and scared off the dragon and threatened the rider. Yeah. And it was intense.
Yeah, and we basically get the idea that now Varish is going to be even more out to get her than before.
Yeah, which he probably was before because he's friends with Eidos.
Yeah, exactly. Cool, so we start this chapter with the little blurb on the top, and it says, in the mountains of the Steel Ridge Range, the green dragons of the Uniloidzig line, I did my best, known for their keen intellect and rational countenance, offered their ancestral hatching grounds for the good of dragonkind, and the wards of Navarre were woven by the first 6 at what is now Basgiath War College. And that was from this book, United Navarre, which is a study in survival by Grato Bernal, creator of the Scribe Quadrant. And even though we found that one that didn't make sense, this is obviously what she's studying right now.
Yes.
Book-wise, because she's asking for all these books about the beginning and it becoming, the wards and all that. So it kind of fits into what she's reading right now.
Yes, this is clearly, she mentions in this chapter that she was reading United Navarre.
Oh, does she?
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool.
This exact one.
Okay, cool. Okay, so this chapter starts out the next morning. So she's like, it's after having had her back, burnt.
Yeah, and I was just thinking that this really went with, like, the theme that I've noticed with these books now, where, like, when a chapter ends, like, really intense, it just time skips.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like, there's times when, like, the last line of the chapter, like, makes you like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen with that situation? Oh, what?
The next day.
We don't know yet.
Yeah. It's funny.
It is funny.
She does wake up from a nightmare. She's still having nightmares about, what happened.
Xaden's not there yet.
That's right. She's worried about this because he was supposed to be there.
He still hasn't come.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, good. She heads outside because she is now running every morning. And she's running, which she explains a little bit later. At least she kind of like insinuates a little bit later because she needs to be fast enough if you're on the ground and you need to get away from the venom leaching the ground of
like as
power.
if Taryn would ever let her off of him.
Yeah, but just she always listens. The question,
No.
So she's heading down there, and then Imogen must have seen her or figured out she was doing this because Imogen pops in.
Imogen says that she now lives in the room right above her or right below her.
That's right. And then she saw her.
She could hear her getting ready, I guess. Early in the morning.
Yeah, that's right. Violet asks, how would you know that I've been running every morning? And she's like, yeah, no, I'm not spying. My room is right above you, and I'm also not sleeping very well. So she's also looking out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're like stretching in the courtyard, getting ready to go. And then she sees like a bunch of cadets coming out, and it's Dane, Sawyer, Rhiannon, Bodhi. So it's basically most of Fourth Wing's leadership.
Yeah, so this answered like the question that we kind of talked about last episode. Because they had it, until right here, they hadn't exactly laid out what all of these positions were and who held them. We just knew about Dane and Rhiannon, and then we knew that this other girl who used to be their executive something then moved up to the executive of the whole wing. Whatever.
Who's not important enough because we don't remember her name.
No, so we didn't know this about Sawyer and Bodhi unless I'm very much forgetting.
No, I don't think so. And I think it's in this chapter we find out that Sawyer was promoted as her executive officer, Rhiannon's, and that Bodhi was put on as the section leader of Flame section, which is just very convenient. So he was the section leader of a different section. I forget, it says in here, but now he's section leader of their section.
Right. So it's cool because I was just last episode being like, did I miss something? Or have we not finished knowing who these positions were filled by? So they're all filled by people in her squad. Maybe because they're Iron Squad and that's...
Well, Bodhi wasn't in her squad.
Oh, no, you're right.
And Dane was he was a squad leader. That's right.
Okay, fine. I guess Bodhi makes it more realistic. But again, like, I guess we don't know how, like, genuinely how much being Iron Squad actually does boost your...
Yeah, it seems to be. Or is
Something
this
for
just very
leadership.
convenient in the writing? Whatever.
Well, probably that. But...
Yeah. Anyway, so Rhiannon and Sawyer are coming over. Imogen is still talking. She's like asking, why are we running? And she starts to explain, but now Rhiannon and Sawyer are there. So Rhiannon's like asking what's up. And Rhiannon's like a little bit like, wait, you're running with Imogen, you know?
Yeah.
It's a little weird for her. Rhiannon's been picking up that there's some sort of distance happening here. You know what I mean? This is where they mentioned that Bodhi Duran was moved from tail section to flame. So he just got moved to their section leader.
Yeah, because before he was just a section leader in... Yeah, I know. I wondered. I don't know. I didn't know if this was just, again, like flavor, text.
Well, they do say the third squad was torched that they had to restructure things.
Yeah. So I was wondering if this was like somehow on purpose.
Yeah.
To try to get like all of the marked ones more together. But I don't know. I don't know honestly where the rest of the marked ones are located at all in what wing and what anything. So
yeah.
So I don't know, but I was like, is this... Sometimes I can't tell if it's a clue or just like, no, we're just filling up the pages because we want interesting things to happen.
No, for sure. Anyways, Violet's a little bit like, kind of like, she doesn't really want this attention. She wants to just be running, right?
Yeah.
And now Bodhi's coming, and now she's worried, oh, great, he's going to see them running, or he's going to notice that there's like some sort of tension here, and he's going to mention it to Xaden. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bodhi's getting suspicious. His gaze narrows, you know?
Yeah.
So then, but then Bodhi is like, just let them go. And Rhiannon's like, but? And he's like, let them go. And this is where it says, like, this is an order from the section leader.
Yeah.
So
which he
like, okay.
just became.
Yeah.
Like, first order, leave Violet alone.
Yeah.
That's not suspicious at all for Rhiannon.
Yeah. Bodhi was there, right?
Yes.
So he also has the same, yeah, because that's right, because his arm was broken from it and it wasn't healed. He also has that same, understanding that, like, you do need to, like, running fast is an important thing right here.
Yeah, but not only that, he probably understands she's probably super traumatized and probably isn't sleeping well and cannot be grilled by Rhiannon right now.
Yeah. And Imogen is the right person to be with her because it's the person she can talk to,
Yeah.
So and speaking of that, once everybody leaves, Violet explains a little bit more that girl that we keep saying we don't need to pronounce her name correctly.
The French girl. Sounds like a French name.
Yeah, it does. That she was on the ground when she got killed and she didn't run fast enough. So it's just that reoccurring nightmare that just keeps going over and over. It's like a, broken record. She can't get it out,
Yeah. I mean,
so,
it was probably horrifying.
Oh, I can't imagine seeing someone just desiccate in front of you.
I know. And just watching it, like, spread, like that's just such a scary concept of like this spreading death wave.
Yeah, and at first they didn't know. As it was spreading, she was just like, all that, grass was dying. But it wasn't until it hit people and they shriveled up. Yeah.
Crazy.
Fun stuff. Okay, good. So they're in battle brief, and there's like some comment here about how they're like in a higher spot now because they're second year, so they could have looked down at all the first years. And again, it's back to standing room only because people are alive, but as they die, the third years eventually get to sit down. But the second years are still sitting. We get some back and forth here with Nadine and Rhiannon. Rhiannon asks Violet at this point, do you have a good run this morning? And Violet's like, I'm not sure if it's good, but it was effective.
The way that she asks her if she had a good run, like it in the text, it italicized run. So I imagine she said, like, did you have a good run this morning? Like she didn't believe she ran?
Maybe she thought they were going to make out or something.
That's literally... I was like, does she think she's, like, sleeping with Imogen? But even that, like, it wouldn't be that surprising, really. Like,
no, especially from Rhiannon.
And Xaden's not there, so,
That's true. I didn't actually totally think about that.
But, or is she just, like, feeling like there's something she's hiding, and that's why she's, like, emphasizing run? But, like, the fact that it's run is just, like, so weird. Like, she doesn't believe she ran. I don't know. It was just weird.
Well, she's definitely suspicious. We picked that out through these chapters, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Riddick makes kind of a funny little, like, making fun of the first years. Oh my gosh, they still have to use their quills or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't just a first year recently.
I know.
Anyways. Okay, so Professor Devara arrives, mentions it's the first battle brief. Obviously, I'm probably saying that more to the first years, because she's basically giving the first years the whole spiel. And it again brings up that the first years shouldn't be surprised if the third years are called into service early to man the mid-guard posts or shadow the forward wings.
Yeah, so this is proof that Dane is obviously a complete idiot.
Like, did he not hear that at all at first?
He didn't hear that on the first year or the second year, apparently. If he announces this every time.
True.
So somehow he was still extremely shocked that Xaden was called in. Like, he
was too busy looking at Amber Mavis or something.
Yeah, I guess. No, I actually think that this is proof that it was a writing error. That was just to make Dane and Xaden have to go head in that situation, because I'm like, so everybody knows but Dane, who doesn't know.
Dane, who's worked himself up to squad leader the second year, is probably not that dumb.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Unless he would think that he would know when they got called out. Like, I don't know. That's the only thing that even makes sense, is he was like, well, I know it could happen. I just didn't think it was happening.
I guess so, maybe.
But here it's like, well, don't be surprised if it happens. So it definitely sounds like it is happening.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyways.
Yeah, exactly. She then introduces Markham, who, we all know, but this is being done to the first years. And of course, Violet is not happy seeing him there. She's mad at him.
Yeah, because he has to know.
Absolutely. Like, how else would all that stuff get taken out of...
comes to him first.
And it specifically says, Devara says, information from the front is actually received at Basgiath before it's sent to the king. Which then also makes you wonder, what is he removing also that the king doesn't know, you know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But we know that the king does know about the Xaden, right? Or do we not know that?
We don't know that. But we also don't know
I feel like I imagine he does. But
right, you would imagine that.
Maybe they're keeping the true, like, how bad it's getting, how close they're getting, how bad it's getting. They're keeping it from the king because maybe some with leadership thinks that he might, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Sway if he knows
really.
How bad it is or something.
Yeah, for sure. But he does, that's a mighty position to get all the information before it goes anywhere else. Mm-hmm. That's cray-cray. Of course, when they mention king, she thinks of Arik, and looks at him. Just because, to remind us really that we have the king's son here pretending he's not the king's son, and also that, like, he could be noticeable, like other people might notice him and recognize him.
Yeah, and basically he's not safe until he bonds a dragon.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because he could be taken out at any minute.
Yep.
So Markham says, first discussion point, there were not one but two attacks on our border by drifts of griffins in the past week. I wonder if there's an attack from Venin, they also blame it on griffins.
I actually think because of how shocked Xaden and the others were that the Venin were that close to the border, that they, like, coming up right now in this part of the book is, like, right when the Venin are starting to come closer to the border. And before that, they were just attacking, like, the farther reaches of Paromial.
Yeah. I mean, we do know that the Griffins are going into these outposts and trying to steal these things. The what are they called? The runes or whatever, the daggers.
They're trying
the stuff
to
put in daggers, whatever.
Yeah.
That extends the wards.
Yeah.
We know that.
Yeah. That's why they're attacking these specific places.
So this could be just the Griffins here.
Yeah, it seems like it is, but I don't know. I when if a whole bunch of Venin and Wyverns were kind of consistently at all attacking along the border, how would they how could they really keep that quiet? That's so many
especially because this is a village. Yeah, it's not just outposts.
So many citizens and people who are in the...
Yeah, that's why I don't think these ones are actually going to be the Venin. These have got to be the Griffins. They talk about the Venin getting closer and closer, but they're still in Paromial.
Yeah, and the only reason that those Venin got so close to the border in the last book was because they were literally, like, called there.
Yeah.
By this rune box. So normally they wouldn't be getting that close yet.
That's the idea I get.
When they run out of Paromish citizens to kill, they're coming.
They're coming, yeah.
So that's what's so scary.
Yeah. Markham goes and, basically gives all the details and, explains what happened. He explains that, actually I think Devara explains that this one attack, the first attack was close to Montserrat.
Yeah, which is close to where Mira was last.
Yeah.
The last place we knew Mira to be, so I'm sure that's a little bit scary for Violet, if she's still there. I know they move around a bit.
I think that's why her shoulders dip here, because I think she hears that it was unprovoked because, like, the Eastern Wing, which was where Mira would have been, wasn't able to go out there basically fast enough. It was too far away, or they didn't hear about it or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that's why he says her shoulders dip, because I think she's a little relief at, like, not finding out Mira's gotten hurt, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she says that village is really high, and what were they looking for? But doesn't she already know what they're looking for? Or is there not ward stuff in that village? I don't know. That was kind of confusing.
That's a good point. Is this not, well, it's okay. Oh, interesting. So this is a village that is, it's one of the, because it says Sapine is one of the villages that lies beyond the wards. So it can't have those ward stones.
Oh, okay. So this is a mystery.
Yeah.
It couldn't have the ward stuff there. So yeah, what were the Griffins looking for there?
And that's what she's asking. What were they looking for? Then she says, maybe I should have spent last night reading about what's in these mountains instead of 600-year-old political ramifications.
Maybe there's another one of those rocks in those mountains too. Maybe they're kind of scattered all over the place. What's that rock called?
So you mean the one that was in Orisha that was inactive is a ward stone? Yeah. And the one, they have one at Basgiath that's a ward stone that is effective. But I don't know, I mean, I don't know what they would do with just an ineffective ward stone.
I mean, Violet doesn't know what to do with it either, so.
Yeah. So I'm not really sure. Yeah. But anyways, okay, that's interesting. Violet, of course, looks at Imogen at this point because she's, like, wondering what they're thinking. I mean, Imogen's staying there with Bodhi and Quinn. Although Quinn isn't a marked one, so she wouldn't know anything about this. But she's, like, wishing she could be there asking them what they think, or, she even mentions Iya, who's that other one who was there with them. But she wants to talk to Xaden. She wants answers. She says he's not willing to give me.
Yeah, but you haven't asked.
Right.
Maybe ask him, what do you think they're looking for in the mountains there? Like, you're saying he's not willing to give it to you, but you're not trying.
Yeah. She hasn't asked the questions.
Nope.
And then it mentions that the outpost of Athabine was attacked 3 days ago.
Yeah.
So, like, of course, she freaks out, gasps, drops her pen. Markham asks if she has something to say. Oh, my goodness. And she's like, no, sir, I was just startled. That's all. As far as I know from what you taught me in the scribe quadrant, outposts are rarely ever attacked directly. Because that's the outpost that they showed up in that was emptied for them.
Yep.
She goes on to say Montserrat was also directly attacked in the last year, so I'm wondering if this tactic is becoming more commonly used by her enemies. So she manages to kind of, like, bring it to, like, something she would normally ask and not be so suspicious as she gasped and dropped her pen,
Yeah.
Taryn notices her shields went down and, like, tells her to get her shields up, and she's like, wow, I didn't even notice they slipped. And he's like, they should be, like, closed at this point. Surely you'd feel a breeze were you to forget putting them on.
Yeah.
Little sarcastic remarks. Rhiannon is like, wait, isn't that where you were sent, Athabine? And, it's just kind of maybe just to remind us that that's where she was sent in case, like, we forgot last book.
I guess so.
I'm sure there was a gap of time between these books coming out. So.
Well, no, but I think she's asking that because of her next question, though. Because then she asks, do you think it's possible that the enemy knew the outpost had been emptied for
the war games,
and was trying to take advantage of the situation?
And they said we do, which just goes back to Atos. Like, okay, good. Have you been properly punished for this stupid idea you had?
For real.
Like, you put them, because it says when they're explaining here that
the delay would show a lag in the timing of their information. The outpost was only empty for a few days.
Yeah.
So if they're getting information, and if this is actually true, that this is why they attacked there, then it'd be late. But that just doesn't make much sense, because if they're getting
the Griffins that were there with them at Reston knew it was already empty that day because they showed up. So I don't know if that datum is correct.
Those Griffin flyers all died, but no, we know they didn't.
We know they didn't. Yeah, we know some of them made it. Or maybe they mentioned it when they, like, flew to some other Griffin, because remember there's different units of Griffin riders, or whatever they call them, Griffin flyers. And maybe another one's like, hey, let's go check it out. I don't know. I'm not really sure if this is just a way to, like, sort of send us off in a different direction, you know?
Like, because they say we think that's true. And Rhiannon is thinking, okay, well, yeah, like I said, the delay in the information. But I'm definitely thinking, like, well, that can't be it. Else. I think it's more likely that they're getting what Violet thinks soon, which is that they're getting more and more desperate. Yeah. And that's what's making them attack straight on.
Also, it's also here is where he says mentions Reston and how it was leveled by a Poromish unrest, and she's like, whatever. Like, of course, she just like, she starts getting a little agitated at this point because it's just such false information being spread. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But there is this little notice where like Markham's just giving a little too much information here. And Devara's sort of like, we don't normally give out all this information. We let them ask questions. And he says he wasn't his best today. Too little sleep in the last few days. What do you think? I mean, I just, like, to me, I almost feel like he meant to say that. Like, he almost maybe knows a little bit with Violet, or, you know, wants her to know what they're saying. I don't know. Maybe it has nothing to do with that. But it's like, I feel like he meant to say that.
When you mix the fact that he called her out
yep.
so publicly a second ago, and then him being like, oh, I didn't sleep much, which is probably true, maybe true. But also, he chuckles. So he doesn't really seem to feel actual remorse, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it says he chuckles and dips his head. Who knows? But yeah, it does appear, there's something about that statement that just seems wrong. He knows better than to just, like, babble out the information.
Right.
And he's not a babbler. So again, here we again get this, like, idea of what's going on, because it's like, where in the outpost were the Griffin Riders found? They were found near the armory. And she's like, okay, yeah, this is where she's, like, thinking, you know, they're going for those daggers, you know, Brennan can't supply them fast enough. And stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they continue to kind of go back and forth with the first year, second years, third years, whatever, on like questions they have and stuff like that. There is an interesting little conversation where Caroline Ashton, if you remember correctly, she was friends with Jack, our favorite person. Caroline Ashton is saying that she would have, like, you know, raised a few of the Promish border villages. Like, maybe like just kind of like revenge a little bit, you know, like a warning or something.
Too, yeah.
And Dane's like, yeah, we don't do that. And, you know, like Devara says, we defend our borders, but we don't take the war to civilians. But, you know, first of all, Violet's thinking, says the man who sent me to my death, Dane.
Yeah.
But also she's sort of like, yeah, but we're not saving them. Maybe we're not bringing the war to them, but we're not helping them when they are, you know,
under constant attack.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Oh.
Yeah. And she thinks what I was asking earlier, maybe this is Wyvern and Venom, not Griffin. So she just doesn't know. Like, everything, like, how do you know? You sit there, you're supposed to be learning something in class, but you're like, is anything they tell us correct?
Yeah. She's definitely having a hard time. Although, if she could get over her, you know, misemotion about this, which is valid in this situation, she could still use it as a way to learn tactics. I mean, that's the point of Battle Brief. This
is a strategy thing.
Is just to teach them
yeah.
strategy and being able to, like, interpret the information of the
and
battles.
Think with whatever's going on, yeah.
Which is actually important.
We also find out that Devara was there.
Yeah.
And she was one of the ones that was injured in this attack. And she does say there was a rider with an excellent aim of her bow. So this does make Violet think, okay, fine. Was Griffins and their riders.
She thinks so, yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the class, Violet goes searching out Bodhi, and she's just like, come on, I want to help. I want to do something. And he's like, for fuck's sake. I have direct instructions to keep you as far away from helping as possible. And she's like, he's not even here, and he's still giving you orders. And then Bodhi's like, that tactic isn't going to work on me because yes. Anyways, Pigeon pops in too and is like, what's she trying to get you to let her join the shenanigans? And Bodhi's like, yeah, trying, but it's not working. So, but she's not used to this. They're used to this. They're used to hearing this information and just being like, okay, we just got to keep going. And she's like, how do we keep going after this? Like, how do we just go into the next class and act like nothing is wrong, right?
Yeah, and this is, like, exactly what the first years were dealing with who talked to Xaden under that tree last year.
Yeah.
We finally get, like,
their feelings of this.
The exact thing that they were trying to say. Because even after I learned Venom was real, I was like, well, what is it about Battle Brief that's so hard?
Right.
But here, we get it. Like, this is what's so hard, is that they're, like, saying it's Peromish unrest and not this entire... All these citizens were attacked by Venom. There was no unrest.
Yeah, and they can't go and ask the strategic questions they want to ask that would get the answers that they know they won't get.
Yep.
Because then they look suspicious. So they also have to be careful on what questions they ask, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. So that is hard. And Imogen's like, you just have to act like nothing's happened and you're basically one of us. So you just have to kind of do what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rhiannon pops up at this time and says something to Violet that, like, literally makes her heart stop, because she says, I want to talk to you. I think the school's hiding something from us.
Oh my gosh.
And you get here why she like literally is terrified of Rhiannon finding out something and then being put in danger because of her.
Yeah.
You know? But then what she's bringing up is the fact that Nolan is like not able to see anybody. It's Nolan? Did I say that right?
You're confused because there's Nolan and Naolan, who are two different
that's why
people.
But this is Nolan. I was right. Yeah, I know.
It does get confusing.
It does. Nolan is the healer.
Yeah.
The mender. The one with the mending magic or whatever you want to call it. But he's like literally can't do it. He's not around at all. He's so busy. And it says like when she went to go ask him if he's all right, because he was like barely standing. Like he's like obviously not getting any sleep. And his mending is being used obviously way too much. Like whatever is happening, he's like being over abused here.
Yeah. And I was thinking like, okay, so this is why Nadine was talking about her arm earlier.
Oh, that's right. They keep bringing up little bits of this.
I was like, this is such a random thing to bring up and then just like move on from so quickly. And so this was why. It was to like help build this whole Nolan story.
Yeah, like why is he... And then not just that, the new vice commandant like basically stops her from talking to him and saying he has more important things than to talk to cadets, and then escorts him to this little door in the back of the infirmary, which is guarded.
Yeah. So I was like they basically theorize here that maybe they have a prisoner back there that they're interrogating, and I'm like, well, maybe it's a Venom, maybe. Like maybe that's what it is. But oh my gosh, I don't know.
Yeah, like one of the things that Riddick is wondering is like maybe it's a prisoner and Varish is breaking them and Nolan is healing them, and that's like what he's known for torture.
Yeah, and which also I was like, okay, so now Violet knows this information that before we the readers knew about him, but Violet didn't. So
Except
now for sure
that...
Violet knows. But she barely reacts to this information, so then I'm like, well, maybe she did know before, and she just didn't think it, so then we didn't read her thinking about it.
I was going to ask how did he know, but I realized he just said he heard one of the third years, so people do know.
Right.
Interestingly, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the end of that conversation, and then it's lunchtime, but she doesn't eat with her friends because she's, trying to stay away from them. Instead, she goes to the library and eats there while she's finishing, and then, like you said, Night in Navarre, Studying Survival. So that's that book that was burbed in the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah. But this book is just basically regurgitating everything she already knows. Just the history that's been drilled into them,
Yeah.
It's nothing new. She's thinking about asking Jacinia for a volume more focused on the first 6 riders. Yeah, that's what she's just thinking about it. But then she's heading to the gym because it's now assessment day. So this was the assessment day, which, like, I was listening to some of our earlier podcasts, and I remember forgetting what this was and then remembering it as we went, because it was like, this is just assessment day. We're assessing how the cadets are doing.
Yeah.
It wasn't challenges, and it wasn't sparring. So it mentions that the first match begins, and it's just a couple of their first years, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't want to know who they are. Oh, no, but she does say that Visya who's the repeat, was trampled. So she does know Visya, but she's the repeat. So she's the one who
didn't bond and came back.
Yeah. So then she notices that Rhiannon's like frowning at her.
Yeah. And I was thinking, is it because she reacted weirdly before when she said, I think the school's hiding something from us. But no, because then Rhiannon explains what she thinks it is. This whole thing where she's so worried about Rhiannon finding out, and then you're kind of building anticipation for the reader being worried about it because Rhiannon's like seeming to act suspicious about her, but all of it can be explained by what happened in Resin, even if it's the fake thing that happened in Resin. It's like,
she could just keep saying, I'm traumatized.
People got killed in front of me. Okay, yes, maybe everyone here is supposed to just like get over death and be fine with it, whatever. But like, I was a first year who got put into an active battle site. It was terrifying. Of course, I'm closer with Imogen. She was there. Like,
trauma bonding. Come on, it's a
trauma
thing.
Bonding. Yeah, seriously. Or like, yeah, of course, like I'm a little jumpy. Like, it's just like so much happened, and now
but she's making it worse by not talking to Rhiannon.
I know, and now it's like, well, Rhiannon can't relate to what she has gone through, so now of course there might be a little bit of divide between them, because it's just like, I went through something that you haven't gone through, and you can't even begin to imagine what it's like. It can all be so easily explained, and it's really bothering me.
Yeah,
because I'm like, it's actually not that suspicious.
We're just adding to the drama of the book this way, so
I know.
Yeah. So Rhiannon asks, are you mad at me? And she's like, why would I be mad at you? And then she brings up that she was worried about choosing Sawyer as executive officer instead of her, as the reason that she thinks that maybe
But I was like, when did it say that was Rhiannon's choice? I thought they just all had a meeting. Was like Rhiannon specifically who got to choose that?
Sounds like the section leads are assigned. It sounds like they get to pick the executive officers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Violet's like, oh my gosh, no, I would not want to be your executive officer. I mean, like, I don't need that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, okay, good. And she's also like, I'm gone every 2 weeks.
Right.
Although it's just for the weekend that they're supposed to be off for, so I'm not really sure if that makes a
Whatever.
difference. But anyways, so Rhiannon's like, okay, good. And then she's like, well, you're not avoiding me? And Nadine just interrupts here, so doesn't really get an answer. But she's like, I would have made a kick-ass executive officer, but I'm glad he didn't choose Riddick. He would have seen the whole thing as a way to crack more jokes, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so now we got Sloane and Arik being called up. So now we have two of the first year cadets that we have the most knowledge about, right?
Yep.
And they're of course going to fight each other because why not?
Except for
Sloane is like, I want her, and points to Violet, right?
yeah, this is
And
so
then
funny.
Imogen
Actually.
says, God, Sloane, and snorts, laughing, and says, you really feel like dying on your first day? And then Rhiannon's like, did she compliment you? And then Violet's like, oddly enough, I think so. And then Sloane says, I can take her. Now listen, after you see how bad Sloane fights, are you like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, I was like, okay, maybe she's like really,
Yes,
confident.
Liam's sister.
And this thing she fights, I'm like, nope.
What were you thinking?
She probably couldn't have even taken first year Violet. I mean,
No.
oh
My goodness. Oh, she mentions that Imogen wrote Sloane last year and mentioned that Violet's joints just pop out, right?
Yeah.
And so then Violet's like,
Seriously?
seriously? And Imogen's like, I can explain. You see, I didn't like you last year. Remember? You're kind of an acquired taste.
I just love that she's like, I can explain. I didn't like you. It's
Yeah.
like, no, we got that.
We knew that.
Like, I thought like her explanation would be like better.
No, she's like, I didn't like you.
Yeah.
I thought you were horrible and I hoped you died.
Yeah, it's like, you didn't need to explain that. I knew that already. But I like that you're kind of an acquired taste. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
funny.
cute. And
Yeah.
it does seem that way, that she has slowly acquired
Yeah.
this. So Amaretto says, Emma Terrio, whatever, says, I couldn't care less about whatever grudge you think you hold against Sorengale Mari. I know who trained her, and I'm not unleashing her on a first year. And then this is where I first was like, what? Didn't you unleash Imogen on her? But then he does look at her and say, I too made an error last year.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, thanks for admitting
Is that what
because
he's
that was
admitting?
dumb.
Is that what he's admitting? Yeah, because he lifts his brow at Imogen, yeah.
Yes.
But I remember thinking, like, this has been only first years fighting first years this whole time in all of these things.
But last time
year he pulls, yeah.
I mean, they could have been an uneven amount, so he had to do one of them, and now he's being like, well, probably shouldn't have been Imogen.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I remember thinking, like, maybe it was on purpose.
But this guy has seemed totally fine this whole time.
Yeah,
like,
there
he
was
seems like
nothing suspicious about him, so it was, like, kind of confusing, but I guess he just didn't think something through, and this year he's like, I'm not making that mistake again.
Yeah, I just thought, at the same time, like, now that you've pointed out how dumb that was, which I never really thought about before, I'm still thinking, like, really, though?
Yeah.
How did you make that decision?
Also, I love how he says, like, whatever grudge you think you have against her. Like, he doesn't even believe her grudge.
Yeah, he's like, I don't even know how you can have a grudge. You've never met her.
Yeah.
Anyways, now it's Sloane and Eric are gonna start, and then some deep voice behind them says, did someone say Sorengale? And then Nadine says, popular today, aren't you? Oh my god.
I know, this is crazy.
Every time I read this, I go, oh my goodness.
The
Anyways,
chances.
she is just being funny.
Which is so much worse, too.
So much worse.
She's being so just like,
She's just
a
like,
good
I got
sport
this.
and,
I
like,
got this for you, babe. And
and-
she turns around and says, hi, I'm Violet Sorghum. Doesn't even basically take a breath after. Oh, no, she does. She says, see, like my hair?
Yeah, because her hair is like half dyed purple.
Which doesn't make any sense
No,
to
because
Violet.
if Violet took the other half of her hair that's silver
And try to dye it purple?
and dyed it purple instead,
Maybe.
it's still like a half head, different color situation.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't get to finish her sentence because he grabs a hold of her head and twists, snapping her neck.
I know, and I was thinking like, oh my gosh, this really is Jack Jr. But no, it goes deeper than that. Because this is the same guy who like threw someone off the parapet. And I was like, oh my gosh, like it is Jack Jr.
Did you gasp?
Well, I gasped. I wrote, holy motherfucking shit, no way. That was my
Didn't
note.
see that one coming, huh?
No, I was like,
I mean, they finally get us to like Nadine. And like, oh, sorry, there she goes.
I know. I should have seen it coming.
You're like, wow, suddenly this person is being named a lot. They're gonna die.
It's just being dropped every page. And then Nadine said this funny thing. And then Nadine was doing this.
She really wanted to get our feeling on that. She didn't want her to be a stranger.
Every time.
Oh my goodness.
And then I had to read, every time I have to read a blurb at the top and make notes on it after something intense happens, I'm always just like...
You're like, I don't care.
I don't care about
Tell me
this.
what happens next. That's funny, yeah, because that is the end of chapter 9. We go to chapter 10, so we do have to read this blurb, even though we want to know what happens next. It is not unheard of that a candidate enters the writer's quadrant having been paid to assassinate a cadet. I mean, this is perfectly, at least, has to do with the moment, right? I'm sorry Mira was targeted, but proud to say she dispatched the threat quickly. You have enemies, General, and this is a notice from Commandant Panchek to General Sorengale.
Yeah, but whoever tried to murder Mira couldn't have been Ados. So I wonder who was trying to...
No, this is just literally someone who's
enemies.
causing trouble. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming. Whew. That's what I get from it. So anyways, we're getting the idea that, okay, Mira also was almost assassinated. Okay, fine. Good. So we go on chapter 10, and we get this moment where Violet just stares in shock at Nadine's body. And I'm not laughing, really. I'm laughing at that... I mean, it's like that shock laugh of like, oh my God, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
She's dead. There's no question.
Yeah. That's just the end of her friend Nadine.
I know, there goes
and again, right when we were starting to like her. That was my note right there. I was like, gosh. Should have seen it coming.
Yeah. Anyways, so Violet's like, fuck this. She yells out, no one interferes. And then she's got her daggers in her hand. And she says to him, I'm Violet Sorengale.
Yeah. And he does like
throws her daggers at him. What?
Doesn't it say in a second that he looks when he realizes he killed the wrong person, he's like Nadine, and his like eyebrows knit. Like he's like, oh. I just think he was like, well, I'm paid to do a job. I'm just going to do my job.
I think he's just another Jack, but just so happened to
be one.
Also paid. But anyways, she does fling the daggers. They do end up landing in his arms because he throws his arms up. And Darna is still not sleeping because she yells Violet in her mind, and then Violet's like, sleep, and then like shuts her out.
Yeah.
So we have a fight here. And we don't have to go through everything step by step. She does think about the fact that, like Xaden said, stop going for bigger moves and that expose you. And, like, that kind of, like, she feels like he's right there talking to her.
I know, which is, like, things that she used to say in the first book, too. Like, Xaden's words came back to me, like, as clear as if he was talking to me and stuff. And, like, this always made me think he must be, like, talking in her mind or something, which he was, but he also wasn't.
Yeah.
Because when he's also
in Samara, which is a long way away.
Yeah, but he is actually kind of here.
Oh, that's right.
So then I'm like, but like she would know. Like she knows the difference between remembering him saying something and him actually speaking in her mind. So I guess it's just like some authors just have like a writing thing that they do a lot. And this just must be one of Rebecca's things she does a lot, which is like where she likes to describe the remembering as like clear as day or whatever.
Yeah, like I can hear his voice in my head.
Yeah, but not literally.
Not literally.
Also, she can literally hear his voice in his head, and that's not what this is. So it's very confusing.
That's true. Anyways, they fight. He does knock her down and like land on top of her and like literally basically try to choke her to death. You know?
Yep.
So she does
she breaks his nose. But then he pins her down.
Right. While he's got her pinned down, he says to her this line, which totally gives away what's going on. He says, secrets die with the people who keep them. This is the same line from Atos.
Yep.
And then she notices his eyes and specifically says that they're light brown but rimmed in red as though he's on some kind of drug. And then she thinks Atos.
Yeah, so this is crazy. She hasn't even done anything. Like, he threatened her. Atos threatened her in person earlier and was like, careful who you tell your war story. She hasn't done anything. Okay, right. I mean, she checked out some books at the library, but, like, she hasn't done anything.
And he's already sent an assassin.
Gonna come to kill her.
Yeah, he's not waiting.
Yeah. Like, what's the point of threatening? Like, I'm just saying, like, all threatening does is get someone's guard up. But if you were just gonna kill her anyways, I don't see the point in threatening her verbally, honestly. But it's just ridiculous. Also, I'm like, where is Xaden? Because this would be a perfect time for Xaden to show up. But he doesn't.
Well, we also want her to, like, fend for herself.
I know. But would he really interfere if he saw that she was doing okay, at least? Because I think he knows, just like everyone else, about the politics of...
Sure, I think his knee-jerk reaction would be to interfere because he doesn't have a lot of logic when it comes to that. I do want to say that the thing about saying the secrets die with the people who keep them is 100% that ego of Atos. He's like, I want them to know that I am the one killing them here. You know what I mean? Like, by saying that.
Which is so funny, because when he killed Nadine, he didn't have a chance to say that, so I guess it doesn't really matter.
Good point. But yeah, you get that idea that Atos wants them to be scared, wants them to know what's going on. I mean, hopefully for that 2 seconds before they die, but at least that 2 seconds before they die, right?
Which is also dumb.
Yeah, right? Because they're dead now. Who cares?
I want you to be scared for a second before you die.
Yeah.
I think I'm ready to be scared.
I think that, like, if you get into, like, weird, like, profiling of, like, serial killers and stuff like that, I think some of this is all just normal for that kind of thinking, you know?
Very much so.
They don't want to just kill someone without... They want to terrify them. They want to... Yeah. Anyways. That can get a little dark getting into that, so never mind. But she also feels this, like, intense fear flooding her mind that's not hers. So she's like, okay, this is Taryn, and she, like, shuts him down, right?
Yeah.
But this is when she grabs one of her many daggers, thank goodness she's got a million of them, with her free hand, and just plunges the blade into his back, like into his kidney.
Yeah.
Over and over and over and over again.
Yep, except for now he's dead.
And he's on top of her.
But also, he's super heavy and, like, stuck on her.
She also got earlier dragged through his blood, so she's basically covered. It's just disgusting. She's and she doesn't go and take a bath.
Badass in a second here when she just refuses to leave.
That's
and she's just murdered someone. Is just standing there covered in their blood. And she's just like,
I'm just gonna watch.
This is assessment day. This happens every day here in the Riders Quadrant.
I mean, hey, at her assessment day, Jack just, like, broke the neck of one of his squad mates. Must have been one of his squad mates. That's what doesn't make sense, is you're not supposed to do that to your own squad.
Yeah, but he said it was an accident. His neck was weak. He doesn't care. He just wants to kill everyone.
I don't know how he does. Yeah, I don't know how anybody looked away from that, but whatever. So anyways, she is in pain because just falling down can throw this girl out. You know what I mean? And she explains that her entire body is nothing but pain.
Yeah. I was like, maybe she should go see
Nolan.
Nolan.
Gosh, sorry, yeah.
And, like, I was thinking this would be, like, an opportunity for her to go, and maybe we'd kind of figure out a little bit more hints of what's going on over there, but not yet.
No, she doesn't want to go.
No.
So Dane is now coming over, and she's thinking about the fact that his father just tried to have her assassinated. So what the hell, you know? But he is freaked out. He's like, say something, and then he goes to, like, offer her a hand. He is worried here.
She's probably doing it automatically.
Yeah, and she literally says fuck no in her head and says, don't touch me.
And I was like that must have hurt him so much.
So hard.
But for good reason. She said to never touch her again.
I mean, one of her other unit or whatever section people should have been there asking to helping her up, but that's fine.
Yeah. Like Rhiannon, where are you?
Riddick. Anyways, they let Dane do it, but fine. Emiterio, that dude, comes over and asks if he can touch her, which I thought was funny.
I know. He was like, I don't want to get scolded like that in front of everyone.
Yeah, so he kind of looks at her and says she's concussed, asks her if she wants to skip, and she's like, no. And she thinks, I'm not leaving assessment day the same way I did last year.
Yeah.
And then Imogen's like, I got her.
And then she says, I'm not going to try to kill her this year, promise.
Yeah.
Which is also pretty
funny. Even Emiterio is wondering, like, why are Imogen and Violet friends? How is this happening? You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so Violet is like, I'm staying. I'm not going anywhere. So when she walks off with Imogen or walks towards the mat, she whispers, Atos sent him. I think we're being targeted.
Yep.
And then she's worried about Xaden again.
I know, I was too.
Yeah.
I mean, not really, because, like, we would know if he was dead.
Yes.
That's what's so crazy about killing Violet is you really do get, like, 2-in-1 package.
Yeah.
Like, if Xaden was dead... I mean, we don't know about 100%. Sigale, but I'm pretty sure Taryn would know.
Yes.
If Sigale's... Like, she'd be coming back.
Yeah.
And Taryn would definitely know if Sigale and Xaden were both murdered, because then he'd be dead, and then she'd be dead, and then they'd all be dead. So...
Yeah.
So, we at least know Sigale's alive, and if Sigale's alive and Xaden's dead, she'd be on her way back so fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways.
So, yeah, we don't really have to worry about him just dying off page, you know?
But he could be kidnapped, trapped, tortured. I mean, there's a lot of things before death, so.
Yeah. Yeah, we get this mention from Emiterio saying, like, he was probably sent as a message to your mother because that happened to Mira.
Yeah, so Rhiannon, Dane, and Sawyer aren't there.
Okay, so they all went to take the bodies. Probably they needed two people for that big guy, yeah.
But the first years stare in wide-eyed horror, which is really
she's probably looks like she's straight out of a horror film. Not that they have horror films, but you know what I mean? Like, covered in blood.
Yeah.
Stuck in her hair. Sorry, guys. Sorry. If you're not a fan of blood, we're gotten a little too much on this one. But anyways, so we're back to where we were before, which was Sloane and Eric were going to have their fight. But that didn't happen because we all got distracted by this guy, like, you know, killing Nadine and then beating up Violet. So now we're going to watch those two have their sparring match, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's funny because Violet actually starts the whole thing saying, is someone going to clean up that mess and fight or what? Because they're all just saying they're staring at her as she's got like drops. Okay, sorry, back on the blood again. Anyways, it's really bad.
I know, and I was like, again, I mean, if I was Sloane, I'd be like, okay.
Right, and one of the first years says like, oh, Sloane, you wanted to take that on? Are you crazy, basically?
Oh my gosh, I will say, like, status-wise, she really just, like, hit the jackpot. Like, all these first years are gonna be like...
She's a small girl, and she just took out this, what she referred to as a giant of a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
stay and watch
here.
the fights.
Dripping.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It is crazy. Anyways, so yeah, it's her. She's got Riddick on one side and Imogen on the other, and they're kind of holding her up a little bit. But she's watching Sloane. She's trying to like keep an eye on like how's she doing, and she notices that she just doesn't look like she's spent any time training for this.
No, and Violet thinks that definitely complicates things.
Yeah, and she also thinks, what the heck, this is Liam's sister. I would have expected more, you know?
Yeah, and I was like, oh goody, I'm glad that this is added.
An added problem to it, yeah. And Imogen even points out here for us that she wasn't fostered with fighters. That means that she wasn't fostered with Liam.
Yeah, which I think we knew that.
Because he was fostered with Xaden.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a much better... I mean, the reason he was the best was because he was literally being trained by Xaden. Not just any
Who's the best
fighter. He was the best. Yeah, so Arik has basically put her on her ass 6 times with little to no effort. You know, Violet's like, crap. This is a problem. So an hour later, she makes it through physics. Still covered in blood.
Yep.
And begs off dinner, turns down Rhiannon's offer to get to her room, but she goes herself.
Guess who's there?
She does feel him. She feels his shadows, or she feels his, like, the mind connection or whatever when she gets close, right? But he is looking ready to kill someone, as usual.
Yeah.
Except for this time, I think he's really wanting to kill someone. She says it's been 8 days. He's like, yeah, I know. And from what Tarn showed Segale, I should have told my commander to fuck off and gotten here sooner.
Yeah.
I don't know if you would have been able to do anything, Xaden. You wouldn't have been in there, but okay. Anyways.
Shadows have been, though.
I don't know.
Shadows watching her all the time.
She lets him know that Colonel Ados sent him, and he's like, I'm sorry I couldn't kill him first. And then she's like, the first year or Atos? And he's like, both.
Yep.
And then she's like, you can't go around killing killing cadets. You're an officer now.
He says, watch me.
Watch me.
But he does say, let's get you clean and wrapped up. So I guess when they're talking a little bit later. Oh, yeah, it says she's bathed.
Yeah, so we have a little jump in time, which is she's been bathed.
Yeah.
Not by him, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
But she's asking him about Samara as she's sitting there, you know, bathed and choking down a bowl of soup that he brought, which is so sweet.
All the way from Samara, or did he just bring it from the cafeteria?
It's from the main campus. And then he's like, look at you asking questions, which I was slightly annoyed at that comment.
So was she.
Was she? I don't know. I'm sure she was.
Well, I guess a little bit later. No, yeah, she is. Cause she's fighting with you about our questions game tonight.
And I shoot a glare at his way. Yeah.
Yeah.
She also like has a slight thought about like maybe telling him about her research, and then decides, nope, I'm not granted the full truth. I'm not going to tell him, basically. He says, in answer to her question about Samara, he states that he's just basically sick of having to prove himself over and over again. It's the cruelest outpost we have.
Yeah.
You know? And then he says, it's annoying. And she's like thinking, leave it to Xaden to be annoyed. Yeah. He's saying that like the relic itself isn't causing this like kind of divide between him and the others. It's his last name because he is Van Rierson's son. And that Garrick isn't getting quite the same sort of, what do you call it? Discrimination. Yeah? Okay.
His is just doubly worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that definitely would be annoying.
He also doesn't need to be making friends, is not interested in being warm and tingly, so it probably doesn't make a whole lot of difference to him.
No, but he's saying he has to prove himself over and over again.
Yeah,
so maybe
that's annoying.
Maybe they're even, like, kind of trying to test his loyalty in little ways. Or maybe they're even, like, not trusting him to be an important figure in battles, just like when they did that mock battle with the little figurines with Mira. Like, stuff like that is what I'm guessing is happening.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure anytime he goes and, like, saves them by, like, a million shadows, that they'd change their mind.
Yeah, so he's saying, like, I'm constantly having to prove that I'm, like, a team player and here to help them, not murder them all in their sleep or whatever.
Yeah. Which he could probably do.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't, because how would that help anyone?
Not, yeah. Especially not Violet. She thinks about how, like, she wouldn't be able to have him sleep in her bed and spend the night because she wouldn't be able to just not kiss him.
Yeah.
She would jump his bones.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Then she asks him about warding her room, right?
Because Rhiannon couldn't come early.
Yeah, she mentions that. So Rhiannon couldn't come in. So she's like, wait, did you ward my room? And he's basically explains that, like, yeah, but you can bring someone in. But she's like, that's not true. And then he's like, you have to hold her hand. So if someone can't walk in, you have to let them in, which makes sense.
But also, like, you could have said something before then.
Right? It's all this rude. Questions thing is what irritates me. It's like, don't ask her. Just start telling her things, buddy.
Yeah, you really could. You really could. But also, she could ask any questions. So it's a little bit of both sides.
It is a little bit of both sides, but I feel like he's making it worse by saying that to her.
Yeah, but it is pretty rude to, like, ward someone's room without telling them the rules of it.
It's like putting a bodyguard on someone without telling them. Or, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it feels like you're really, like,
stepping over your boundaries.
Yes, exactly.
He says, it's your room, Violet. The room is warded to let in whomever you pull through, and selfishly me. But while he's saying this, he's, like, watching her hair and, like, obviously uncomfortable, watching her brush her hair, right? Yeah. And she remembers him saying, I fucking love your hair. If you ever want to bring me to my knees or win an argument, just let it down. I'll get the point. Yeah. I'm like, why doesn't she use this more often?
Yeah, right.
Come on. Although it is down right now. She's brushing it. And then she's sort of like, basically I can bring whoever I want, like, you know, like hint someone else to sleep with. And he's like, basically, yeah, even if you wreck another armoire, which I'm like, okay. That's not really what you think. There's no way he thinks that way.
Yeah, but also, like, it would be crazy to not even give her the option. Although I guess she could go to someone else's room, but...
Absolutely. And it is nice that he is saying, like, I'm not forcing you to only have me as your bedmate.
Yeah.
It is nice that he's saying that. Especially because they're not actually officially together.
No, especially not right now.
Right. Yeah. Because she's mentioning the armoire, they've gotten a little into some, like, sexual teasing here. And she says something like, this one's a very solid armoire. And he's like, is that a challenge? Because I can guarantee we can take it down. And he's like, just say the words. Only takes 3. And she thinks the 3 words are, she has to tell him, I want him. I thought
it was,
I love you.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Anyways, fine.
Whatever.
So yeah, she's like, we're not doing this. And he's like, okay, fine. Then tell me about your week instead. And she explains how she was on parapet. She was, like, looking for Sloane. So she actually must have asked them to have that position.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know who
from what
they
she's
are.
saying. Whoever they are, yeah. Like, maybe she said, hey, can we volunteer for the parapet? Maybe that's not something people love doing. I mean, I don't blame them. You, like, say hi to the person, get their name, and then watch them die, you know?
Yeah.
So, but she mentions how she really couldn't watch them. And I guess she considers that a weakness. By the way she's saying it is a little bit... She's worried about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she brings up that Sloane hates her. And and he says, it's impossible to hate you. Trust me, I've tried. Oh my goodness. Then they have a little argument over whose fault Liam's death is.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever,
Classic.
Shut up. Yeah. They talk about the cadets that fell and that, you know, he's like saying, it's okay that you couldn't watch them. You know, that means you're you.
Yeah.
You know, he talks about the fact that it's okay for you to care about that and know that you're going to care, and so therefore not wanting to expose yourself to that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, he says something here, like, about he says the first year is when some of us lose our lives. The second year is when the rest of us lose our humanity. It's part of the process of turning us into effective weapons, and don't forget for a second that's the mission here, right? Yeah. And she says desensitizing us to death
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, like, death won't, like, make us blink anymore, right?
Yeah, which, like, it is ruthless and heartless, but if the first time you see death is in battle,
And you
in
stop
action,
and you're in
and you
shock.
freeze,
Yeah.
that will just get you killed.
Yeah.
So it's not good, especially because they're using all these guys as, like, fodder for the people who get to the top, and that's
Especially
pretty messed up.
Tons of people die. It's not just every once in a while, yeah.
Yeah. So, again, not trying to defend them too much, but in a way, being able to move past it in the moment will save your life, so, you know.
Yeah, it can be well justified as to why. It is definitely very heartless, the whole way everything is, so.
Oh, yeah. Like he said, second year, lose your humanity.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, at this point, Bodhi comes and gets Xaden. She realizes that it's time. That's it. They don't have any more time together, you know. They're obviously going somewhere. She wants to go with him. And he's like, no, you need to sleep so you can heal, right? Since you're not seeking out Nolan. And then we get this comment. Because from what I hear, he's hard to come by these days. So even he's heard it.
Yeah. Which I guess he's just getting information from the people inside the college still.
I don't know.
He must still be in touch with them.
Yeah.
Because him and Bodhi have this plan. Whatever it is.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, no, it is definitely keeps on being put in here so you don't forget. So it's going to be relevant. It's coming up.
Yeah. She keeps trying to say, I want to help. And he's just like, no. He says, but I do need you to pay close attention to what happens when you leave in 7 days with Taryn. Until then here. I don't know what he means by that. Pay close attention to what?
I don't know either.
Anyways, he presses a parchment in her hand.
Like, maybe, like, they're not going to let her leave, or they're going to be weird about her leaving, or they're going to tail her when she leaves, but that doesn't make sense. They know where she's going. Yeah, no, that's a good question. I don't know.
He doesn't tell her what's right in her hand right this time, but he says, you told me once that I was scared you might not like me if you got to really know me. And he's like, but basically there's no time for romance in this. Like, there's no time for long walks and long talks. Like, we're always fighting, we're always training. But this is my way of letting you in, basically, right?
Yeah.
And it still doesn't tell us what it is at this point. I mean, I don't know if he figured it out. You're like, there's some parchment in her hand.
It says it at the end.
I know. It still doesn't at this point. He says all that, right?
Yeah.
He says, I'll see you at Samara. She's like, how do I find you? He explains where he is. He says the wards will let you in. And she's like, oh, I guess they're warded for sound to let you, me, and anyone you tug through. And he's like, no, Violet, just you and me. It's like, he's not tugging anyone through into his room. He's keeping that out. And then he's gone, and she looks at her hand, opens the parchment, and it's a letter from Xaden.
I know. I'm so excited to know what it is.
Don't get to read it. But that is the end of the chapter. These were kind of on the shorter sides of chapters. And other than the wild Nadine scene, not a whole lot happening. But we do get our first visit from Xaden, so we get a little idea of what this is like. He's there for what? It was like a few hours, maybe?
Yeah.
2 hours, maybe? It's hard to say. And then he's like, I have to leave.
Yep.
So they don't get a lot of time together.
No.
Now, we know he's going off to do something with Bodhi, and he's probably not going to leave until the next
day. Yeah.
Maybe, because he can't sleep in her bed. I don't know, whatever. Maybe he's going that night. Who knows? I don't know if Sigil would let him. They'd probably extend it to the last minute, but...
Probably. Yeah. I also kind of wish she had asked, when he made that comment about Nolan, I wish she had asked, like, oh, what have you heard? Do you know anything?
She's not zooming in on this. We are, because it's being brought up enough that we're like, what the heck? But she's not going like, I wonder what's happening.
But Rhiannon said to her, like, something is weird.
Yeah, but what's Violet's mind completely full of right now? It's still full of everything that's going on that she's never...
still be related to that.
Oh, yeah, totally. I'm just saying that she is one-track minded right now.
Yeah, that's true.
So she was just very happy to find out that Rhiannon wasn't suspecting that there's venin.
Yeah.
Because Rhiannon was the only other cadet, I think, that had heard the venin stories. Remember in book 1?
In that scene when they were talking about it.
Yeah.
There's only a few people around them.
But she said it was just like stories, bedtime stories being told.
But didn't she live? But she lived on an outskirt village.
She did. Right? Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Which means that they're closer to that information somehow.
I think that those stories have been passed down in a way that a paper trail can't eradicate. Because it's just passed down through
just keep
families.
Passing it down, yeah. That's interesting.
And you can't do anything about that except for teach when they're taught not to believe it. Now they just think they're bedtime stories instead of real life stories.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, that ends this episode. We have Instagram and Threads. You can find us at First Swing Pod. You can also rate and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts. If you leave us a 5-star review, we'll read it on the podcast. And on Spotify, you could leave a review style comment that we also would read, and you can rate us there. And we have a review today to read.
We do. This is from Harley Quinn 103, which is great because I know Brianna's a big fan of Harley Quinn.
I do have a poster of her on my wall.
Yeah. And it says, they're back for book 2, and I'm psyched. I absolutely love these ladies. I found them after finishing Onyx Storm and needing to satiate my obsession with this series until the 4th book comes out, a very long time from now. So sad. I hate thinking about that. Anyways, and then she continues, I'm saying she, I'm just assuming, sorry.
Because of Harley Quinn, I guess.
And because it's mostly females read this, but it's not particularly always true. Anyways, only going over 1 to 3 chapters per episode is killing me, but it's also so awesome because of how in-depth they talk about it. It's just like a reread, but with commentary. Like my friends and I are chatting about each chapter. Can't wait for more. That's really cool. And I understand that it's killing you because, like, I mean, we just like to talk so much. I mean, we're doing this because we like to talk.
Yeah.
And we have to talk about these things. And we're going to talk about them. And you guys get to hear us talk about them. And unfortunately, we can talk for so long that if we did more than 2 chapters, these would just be hecka long episodes.
Yeah, also we wouldn't be able to cover so much of what actually happens in the book. It would mostly just be like opinions that are out of order and all scrambled.
Yeah.
If we did too much at once.
But I'm so glad that you're loving it.
And we're gonna get into the thick of this book soon, so don't worry. I'm sure it's coming.
But it's still just 2 chapters. I mean,
know.
it does leave us in these like moments where you're just like, I want to know what's next.
I know.
So yeah, but thanks, Harley Quinn 103.
Yes, thanks for listening. And everyone else, thanks for listening too. We will see you next week where we will cover chapters 11 and 12.
That's right. So excited. Join us next time, writers.
Bye.
Bye.